what's up, people? It's Total War Master, and today we're continuing with these rating videos. Today I found this one that is for all the Total War games. I think it includes Troy and it has Three Kingdoms also, right? Yeah, it has, I think, all the games. So yeah, let me know what you guys will think down in the comments. Make sure to join the Pleb Army, liking, subscribing, comment down below. And we are still going on to the 1K subscriber count. Can't wait to get there. Hopefully we can do it before the end of the year. Yeah, well, let's go with this. I'll randomize them a bit just so we make it more interesting, I guess. Okay. Okay, let's start with Attila. So, Attila Total War is a very niche game, I feel like. The thing is that it's different to basically all the other ones because you're not building an empire, you're trying to survive, basically, kind of. That's the kind of feeling of the game, right? I would still say it's quite a good game. And I'm gonna, no, wait, can I, yeah, I can, I'll just do this S, A, B, C, and D tier. I think this is better. I think that Attila kind of has a very specific feel to it that no other Total War game really has, and that's why I do think that it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. It's kind of the middle of everything. Up next, okay, we have Medieval 2, which I'm shooting up straight to the S tier. It's my favorite Total War game. I feel like it is, you know, of course it's kind of a reskin of Rome 1, but with many, many, many good features, bug fixes, and I preferred setting as well. The graphics are much better than Rome 1, for example. It's just Rome 1 plus everything that was wrong with Rome 1. I'm not saying Rome 1 was bad, but it did have its problems. But yeah. Oh, just realized we don't have the Rome remastered over here. I'll just do it later, a little bit later point. Total War Warhammer, I think I'll put it into B tier probably. Personally, I don't like it as much, but I know it's a good game. It's just my personal problem is that I am not the most fantasy-driven player. I don't like it as much, but I still recognize it as a good game for people who like that. Up next is Three Kingdoms. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. It's not disastrous. I'm not the biggest fan of the setting. Like the diplomacy is really good actually, but everything else it's kind of boring. I don't like the hero way of, because it's basically it's Warhammer shipped into a freaking historical title, which is just a no-no for me. Minus the unit diversity, because Warhammer at least had unit diversity, it has a shit ton of units, but here I think it's a bit more stale. Troy, to be honest, I fucking hate it. I really don't like it. I played it. I tried to like it. I like the setting because I like the Trojan Wars. But again, the hero idea is stupid. It's ridiculous. It does not work in a historical title. The units are kind of boring. I don't know. Everything's just boring. Shogun Total War now. I must say I have not played it. I'll put it into C tier because, for the moment when it was released, it was probably really decent. Right now, it's probably not really playable, but I cannot put it into D tier because at least, it's fucking 20 years old. I cannot really put it into D tier just because it's so old, but I also know that it's not particularly good for today's standards because, it's fucking outdated. Just, that's all I can say. Shogun 2, on the other hand, I'm gonna put it into A tier. I played it a bit. It's not one of my top favorites, but it's still quite decent. It's the last Total War, right, that still had the old system of fluid armies where you can use only one unit and put it somewhere. So that's kind of that meme where someone is laying in bed and the picture of actually being able of moving your armies one by one. That's good old times. But yeah, the original medieval Total War. I'll put it into C tier. Basically, same problem as Shogun. It's really outdated. For the moment when it was released, it was probably amazing, but now it's just freaking outdated, and yeah, that's about it. Empire, I will probably put it into. I'm thinking of B or C tier. I might have to put it in C tier because I do think Napoleon is better than it, but I don't like. I wouldn't rate Napoleon into A, so that's why I'm gonna put it into Empire into C. Now on release it was catastrophic. Now it's kind of so-so. Personally, I don't really like the muskets era. I don't like. I like my swords, spears, and archers. Um, that's my thing. I like that. I don't like fantasy, and I don't particularly like gunpowder. I know they introduced many great ideas, which were sadly most of them were like freaking bugged to hell. But still, I respect it to some extent, but I don't like it. Next up, we have Throttles of Britannia, which was absolutely shit. That's why I'm putting it into D tier. The only good thing that I can remember is that they don't have hero units, and the sieges were okay. Actually, you know what? The sieges were okay. I really like how the sieges looked. That's what I'm gonna put into C. And everything, like, because I really like the siege. I really like siege, like, stuff. So, because they had great sieges, I'm gonna put it into C. But that's the only good part of it, and not having hero units. But that's not really something to boast about. Anyways, Warhammer 2, I'll put it into A tier. Now, personally, as I said, I do have to put it there because I know it's probably one of the best-selling Total War games, if not the best one. I do own it, thanks to my friend Nominal, who gifted it to me. Massive respect to him, guy. To that guy. He's a great member of the pleb army. He also did it with Warhammer 1 as well. I should mention that. But anyways, I feel like it's just so good that I cannot put it lower than A, but I don't want to put it into S because I don't like it as much. After that, we have Rome 1. I'm going to put in S tier. It's the one that revolutionized Total War, if you ask me. Excuse my voice. I feel like, the first two ones, so the Medieval and Shogun, the original ones, were great games, but Rome 1 really revolutionized it, because it actually had proper 3D models, it looked great from the time, the campaign map was great, it was a real revolution in the Total War era, and, the whole timeline. And even though perhaps now it is a bit outdated because it is a bit buggy, it doesn't look that well, although if you ask me it still looks better than some of the modern Total War games. But yes, I would agree that perhaps it would need a remaster. Oh wait, we got one, but it looked worse. Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna put it into S tier because it's amazing. I can still play it today and have a very good time. And it's fucking more than 15 years. It's like 2004, right? So it's fucking 17, 16 years old. So, yeah. Rome 2, I will put into B tier. I feel like with modification and everything, it's gonna be really a good game. I was so hyped for this game though. Like I was so freaking hyped when it came out. It was a disappointment at the start, and I never really got into it as much as maybe some like these two games. But it's still an okay game in these times, I have to say. Oh wait, this was actually Fall of the Samurai. Fuck. I'll do this. I was talking about the original one. Anyways, let's go to Napoleon. I will put Napoleon into B tier. I have played it a decent amount. It was actually my third Total War game that I owned. The first one was Medieval 2, then it was Rome 1, and then it was Napoleon. Like, I remember I went to the store. It was a local big bank, which is like a computer store they have video games. And you know, I don't know why exactly. Maybe I was good in school or whatever, or did some of my birthday or whatever. I don't know exactly what the setting was, but I was able to buy myself a game, and I go to like the game part, and I see Total War. Like, oh, holy shit, what's this? It's Napoleon. Holy shit, I like Napoleon, you know. So I was so hyped for this, and I thought this was gonna be the greatest game ever. But I played it to some extent, but I have to say that I was a bit overwhelmed by the changes from medieval in Rome, because those were my first two games that I experienced, and I kind of, you know, I knew that's gonna be freaking gunpowder, but it felt so different that I never got into it as much. So that's why Napoleon for me, it's a decent game, but I'll put it into B tier. Um, After that we have Shogun Two: Fall of the Samurai. It's basically kind of a mix between a Napoleon and a Shogun, I guess. Um, I still think it's a great game though. I'll put it into A tier because I haven't played it as much, but I still feel like it's a great game. I have to put some honor to its name, I guess. And if we had Rome Remastered over here, which I just realized we don't have, I would probably put it into C or B tier because it's not a terrible game, but my main problems with it is that, how would I say this? It's basically worse than the original Total War Rome Total War. Sorry. Um, the reasons being the UI is absolutely it's an abomination. Um, what else? The campaign map looks shit. I'm not gonna be crying that they have not fixed bugs because I was never expecting them to fix bugs. I was expecting them not to make new bugs though, which they failed to do. The menus look like a fucking mobile game, which we talked about before, and it was a disappointment. And it brought a big deterioration, if I can speak, in the historical Total War community because it was supposed to be the thing that saves us. It was supposed to be the thing that we're gonna fucking grow from, that we're gonna play Hotseats on, but it did exactly opposite. It broke it broke Melkor, from what I can see. I don't have inside information, but from what I think, it freaking broke him. Um, and I was talking to someone, and I didn't know that actually before, but before Total War Rome Remastered was announced, Rome 1, the original Rome 1, had twice as many players as it has now. So basically, it dropped by 50% until now in like 1 year. Plus, Rome Remastered has less players than the original Rome right now. So basically, instead of making this big boom and everyone playing Rome Remastered, or even people going back to the original Rome, it cut the original Rome in half, and also the game itself, the Rome Remastered, has shit 0 players. So, if I look at the impact of it, I would put Rome Remastered in D tier because it fucked up the whole community. And guys, don't expect Medieval 2 Remastered ever in the near future. Well, ever in the near future doesn't make sense, but in the near future. Why? Because Rome Remastered bombed so freaking hard. To be honest, it's their fault because they made a shit remaster. They, as I said, if I were to remaster, yes, make the graphics better, yes, make the UI look better, but don't change the actual UI setup. Don't change the famous red loading screens. Don't change the famous red main menu. Just update the graphics on it. Make it look better. Make it look nicer. The campaign map. Now, yes, they did not change anything in particular around it because you cannot change the map of Europe, but the colors are absolutely shit. The background is too like too flashy, while the armies and the settlements and the boats and the agents are not flashy enough. So they basically blend with the background, and instead of having this canvas on where we have armies, settlements, and agents, which we can actually see so well, we have a fucking mesh of everything. It's so hard to see. And I'm not gonna rant forward with this because I ranted too many times about it anyways. So I will put it into C tier Rome Remaster. Imagine it's over here because it is a worse game than Rome, even though it's released 16 years later, and it's basically the same game but worse. But it also deteriorated the market for historical Total War titles. So yeah, that's it for this video. I ranted a bit for too long. Thanks for watching, and until next time, fuck off.